Good evening, everyone, and welcome tonight to date number 112. Thank you guys all for being here. Larry and Deborah, missed you today, Greg. Yeah, I was coming by. I'll be there tomorrow. Got tied up. Big day in Ukraine, big day in Europe, big day everywhere. And want to thank all of you guys for being here. Facebook a little bit goofy tonight as always. I couldn't do some of my automation in there, but if you're there, I see you there. God bless you. I was actually in Walmart today, and a lady walked up to me. So I don't know if you're in here watching tonight. You watch pretty much every night, you said. What's up, Jay Moore? I'll be in Reno Sunday, bud. Nate Fody, welcome to you there in Cali. And I was walking through the aisles, and a nice lady walked up to me, and she says, "You're PG." I said, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "I watch you every night." I said, "Really?" She goes, "Oh, yeah, I love it. Thank you. You keep me updated, and just want to thank you." So I'm pretty excited to meet Ms. Ann Hockett. So God bless you there. Malcolm Beals, welcome to you from Great Britain. Every time I see your name, you can get a shout out up early in the morning there across the pond. Folks, we have a full night tonight, and I want to get to it. Zhenya is actually driving right now. He may call in live, may not. I don't know. He's in the middle of Poland. No grass grows under the feet. So see all of you guys here, and very, very much appreciated. Thank you as always. So we're going to jump right to it, and so much tonight, but let's start right here. Every once in a while, I like to show you guys this update from British intelligence. And of course, this is always up to the moment. This is defense intelligence. Of course, this is out of Britain. After more than a month of heavy fighting, Russian forces now control the majority of Severodonetsk. Russia's urban warfare tactics, which rely on heavy use of artillery, have generated extensive collateral damage throughout the city. Now, I want to pause right there after that statement. So there we have British intelligence saying basically Severodonetsk is being leveled. Secondly, they talk about the Azot chemical plant. And unfortunately, folks, not to the level, but we have another Azovstal happening. Over 500 are still trapped underneath that plant in the bunkers. And I know many people ask many times, why on earth are these people under these plants? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so most of these plants were built during the Cold War. I want you to think about that for just a moment. Whether it's Azovstal steel, whether it's Azot there in Severodonetsk. We could even go to our home city of Khmelnytskyi, Ukraine, and the plant that is adjacent to one of our churches there, which is a huge plant. It's Novator radio systems, and it's public information. I'm not telling you anything you do not know, but it is unbelievable. Hey, Jeremy Teeple, Canada. It is safe. But when these plants were built, not only in Ukraine, but throughout the entire Soviet Union, pre-91, they were all built with bomb shelters. This is another reason that you see subway systems so deep down in Kyiv or Kharkiv or Moscow. It's because they were built, the Cold War in mind, and at any day, there could be a nuclear war. That is why people are underneath these plants, but it's a bad situation there. Now, with that, I got some video in today, and I want to show it to you. Translated it. Just a guy looking out his window. And listen, I can't answer it for you. I just can't. I know you're going to say, why is he still there? We've tried to answer it. Now, for Severodonetsk, he can't leave. This young man is trapped along with thousands and thousands of other people. The bridges are destroyed and Severodonetsk is closed off. So we've tried to answer this for 112 days. It's hard for us to fathom. We're not living in a war zone. But here, this young man filming out of his window today.
Ось так в Северодонецьку проходить 4 дні. Це танковий снаряд, друзі. Дуже близько. Десь приблизно 25 метрів. І ще спить. Вирішили під вечір ще одну хвилю. Це серйозно. Дуже близько. Це по району цієї башти. Вони розбирають цей будинок з баштою. Він вже вигорів, але артилерія продовжує. Артилерія і танки продовжують бити по цій башті.
Severodonetsk. I can't answer it, folks. You just have to try to figure it out on your own. Shells are dropping, and it's Russia leveling Severodonetsk to the ground. They're already leveling Lysychansk across the river. I want to pop over here to a map for a second and show you. Right before we went on the air, and of course, we're talking in this area about Severodonetsk. But I can tell you, anybody that's still here, they're not getting out. I'm sorry. They're not getting out. And the way things are going, they're going to be killed. All the bridges are blocked. They're stuck. With that said, Lysychansk next on the target. We've been talking about it every night. But you know how we went in this war. A month ago, it was Mariupol. And as you know now, Mariupol's gone. Completely under Russian control. And we will actually talk about that more in just a couple of minutes. But Lysychansk already being shelled, already being leveled, showed you several video clips over the last 4 or 5 days from there. Last night showed you the video clip from Provilia. Still being shelled, being leveled, and people are trying to get out of there now. But this is a very, very dangerous situation. And today, this area, let me go to a different color for you. This area right here, Russia made a pretty good push in and expanded their reach here. This section over here at Severodonetsk is going to be in trouble. Now, with that said, right before we went on the air tonight, massive missile strikes in Sumy. Here's what I can tell you, and this is 9:14 p.m., 4:14 a.m. in Ukraine. Chernihiv was struck, but air defense worked. But Kharkiv and Sumy, they hit their targets. We are waiting on the details, but we know that the air defense did not get them all, and we've had targets hit in Sumy and in Kharkiv, of course, coming from Russian territory. As well, Donetsk still under hot fire. Zaporozhye still under hot fire. Kryvyi Rog, they're trying to push up into it. Another huge city. Mykolaiv under constant bombardment. And then, of course, just look at the zone. It's no bueno. And we're going to talk about the no bueno a little bit more. In fact, we'll just jump to that now because there are some things that have happened today, and I'm just going to tell you the truth as we always do. But you guys know my opinion. The West is failing. White House expected to announce around $1 billion of weapons for Ukraine. This is multiple sources. Tweet on the right is from Reznikov. Was glad to see great friend of Ukraine, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. Our fourth bilateral meeting this year, we discussed every situation in Ukraine and armed supply for the Ukrainian army. Now, you have those two pictures in your mind. Right before I went on the air, Kyiv posted a response. And it's hard to talk about this and try to be fair and equitable. But if you're here from America and you're watching, or maybe you're from another nation, I can't speak about your economy in your local situations, but in America, it's pretty tough right now. Economically, there's lots of struggles inside of our country, and we're just loading money out to Ukraine, which I fully support. But folks, unless we increase it and actually get the weapons there and get the support there, we're flushing it down the toilet because it's too little too late. I guess that's the best way I can say it. Ukraine came out, I've got it right here. U.S. President Joe Biden announced a new $1 billion military aid package for Ukraine. The new aid package includes artillery, coastal defense systems, artillery ammunition, and MLRS. Response from Kyiv: thank you. But even though it seems large, this is very little. We cannot stop the offensive coming our way. Then the meeting that happened today, the defense meeting, and I'm going to play you a clip from Lloyd Austin in a second. At the Ramstein 3 meeting, we discussed the security situation, the supply of weapons for Ukraine. The head of the Pentagon, Lloyd Austin, noted the progress that has been made since the last such meeting. And he does. I'm going to show you the video, and called on Western countries to speed up the supply of weapons to Kyiv. Once again, here's Kyiv's response. Thank you, but too little, too late. The weapons are not arriving. The weapons are not coming in the amount and the levels we need. Meanwhile, those meetings that I talked about last night, Putin has not spoken yet. I'm sure he will be speaking probably on the last day. But while the Ramstein meetings were going on in Europe, of course, in St. Petersburg, they were having the World Economic Forum, where they welcomed such representatives as Venezuela, Nicaragua, Cuba, Central African Republic. But today, an agreement was made to sell, I've got it right here, and this stuff just came out, to sell Ukrainian grain to the Taliban. So the Taliban, attending the World Economic Forum there in St. Petersburg, is buying Ukrainian grain. And we keep sending money, we keep talking about weapons, but folks, day 112, I'm almost coming to the conclusion that there's something else afoot. This is, how can you miss this? And now I'm going to show you a couple of things. Here is Lloyd Austin, and I don't know him, of course, but God bless him, and I hope he does well. But just listen.
But make no mistake, Russia's unprovoked and indefensible invasion isn't just a danger to Ukraine, it's a menace to European security.
Okay, I've got to stop it right there. This is Lloyd Austin. It's an American service member, so I respect him. I thank him for his service. But did you hear what he said in his first sentence? The Russian invasion presents an indefensible position. That's indefensible. That's indefensible. Without weapons, we're outnumbered between 10 and 20 to 1 between soldiers and shells. We're sending $1 billion for coastal defense. The coast, yes, it's a problem, but folks, the coast is not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is this access through here and this access through here. You can only have limited stuff come through the coast. This is unlimited. This is so easy to see. And Lloyd Austin said it himself. I'm going to repeat it, start it from again. This is only a 30-second clip. Listen, this presents an indefensible position. Okay, so what are we doing about it?
But make no mistake, Russia's unprovoked and indefensible invasion isn't just a danger to Ukraine, it's a menace to European security. And it's an affront to the rules-based international order that protects us all. So we must continue to rise to meet this challenge. Ukraine's soldiers and citizens are doing just that. And they are defending their homeland with resolve, grit, and ingenuity. And they've inspired us all, and they need our help.
I will not be disrespectful to this man. I don't know him. But I know you're just carrying the line, sir, but indefensible. Ukraine is showing us the example of how to be great with their grit and determination. We need to help them. Then help them. Guys, a New York minute. There's only one way to deal with a bully. That's to pop him in the eye. Yeah, when are the troops going in? Never. Sacrificial lambs. It's what's happening right now. Two different opinions going on. And I know, that many of you in here are conservative, and as I am. And we have our opinions. So if you want to turn down the volume, you may, just for about 30 seconds. I am going to show a Biden clip, because President Duda came out today and tried to snap President Biden and the United States back into reality. Today we had a reality check, as we have many, and I'll just play it.
Working closely with our European partners to get 20 million tons of grain locked in Ukraine out onto the market to help bring down food prices. Folks, look, what Putin's war has done is not only try to wipe out the culture of the Ukrainians, decimate people and commit innumerable war crimes, but he's also prevented the grain, thousands of tons of grain that are locked up in those silos ready to be exported, but they can't get out through the Black Sea because they get blown out of the water. So we're working on a plan to get it out through other countries by rail. But guess what? Ukraine has a system like Russia has, a rail gauge that is different than the gauge of the rest of the tracks in Europe. So we're going to build silos, temporary silos, in the borders of Ukraine, including in Poland, so we can transfer it from those cars into those silos into cars in Europe and get it out to the ocean and get it across the world.
President Duda came out and said, I don't know what you're talking about, building silos on Polish ground to help feed the world. Do you know how long it takes to build silos? Do you know how long it takes to build the infrastructure for the rail to get the grain to and from the silos? What is this, like an Amish barn raising where 500 Amish come out and we raise the barn in a day? No, it's between Lloyd Austin saying they're doing great and we need to support them more. Oh, we're sending $1 billion worth of aid in. And now we're just going to build some grain silos because the gauge of the rail track is different. And we're going to bring the grain to the border and put it in silos. President Duda, don't worry, guys. I know. President Duda already answered on the presidential level. He asked the question today. He goes, what on earth are you talking about? When all we've got to do is go down and take care of business and put the grain on our ships out of our ports. But no, we're going to take all this money and waste of time and lose the entire harvest talking about some dream of building silos on the Polish border. Last time I checked, Mr. Duda said, this is Poland and not the United States. You don't tell us what to build. It's sad, folks. Let's continue. It's the same story today. It's the same story. General Mark Milley. Okay. Came out today. HIMARS by the end of June. It's June the 15th. He then stated that the training was complete. Now think about this, folks. And I know others of you in here that are military veterans. Maybe you've even used some of the HIMARS. You're familiar with them. But 60 Ukrainians are trained. 60 Ukrainians are trained completely. So, I don't know how many servicemen it takes to do this. I don't have time to research all of that. I'm too busy talking to Ukraine. But we're still 2 weeks away from the end of June. If they're fully trained, why aren't they there now? Why are we dragging our feet? The HIMARS are coming. They're fully trained, but we still have 2 weeks until they get there. Can someone please explain that to me? I don't get it. Jens Stoltenberg, Secretary General of NATO. Lots of meetings happened today, whether it's in St. Petersburg or it was at the Ramstein. Jens Stoltenberg. I was too optimistic in regard to Finland and Sweden joining NATO. Early on, I had no information that there may be problems in the process. Now we see that Turkey has so many concerns. Here's what I would do, Mr. Stoltenberg. I would kick Turkey out of NATO because they're Humpty Dumpty on the fence anyway. And I would much rather have Finland as my ally than Turkey. Just some advice for you. Just go ahead and tell Turkey, too bad, Finland and Sweden are coming. The other nations agree, led by the United States. And if you don't like it, lump it. You can go join another organization. That's how I would handle it. But we do not have backboned leaders in this world. Current war positions from key NATO. These were updated today. Lots of meetings happened today at the Ramstein. Lots. Italy and Hungary favor an early ceasefire regardless of positions of Ukraine and Russia. Italy and Hungary. Poland and the Baltic states desire only an unequivocal defeat of Russia. That would be Poland, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. They know the answer. Russia must be defeated. France and Germany favor negotiations with Putin while maintaining economic sanctions. The United States seeks to weaken Russia, but not push for a regime change. Those are updated as of today, and they're very accurate. They're very, very accurate. So you can see, even within NATO, I mean, folks, there was an article released today on, I think it was CNN. Could have been BBC. It was released today. You can Google it. But it was some military analyst from the War Institute. And those guys are sharp. They're sharp. They've studied war. They know war. They came out today and said, listen, this war is critical right now. And if Ukraine does not have some adjustments over the next couple of weeks, it's going to be difficult for them to win the war. They're getting too far behind now. And here we go, doing what we're doing. Večer s Vladimirem Solovyom. You guys, yeah, NATO has no provision. I know, removing a member state. Bad. So, Večer, what have the guys been saying today? And as I told you today, many meetings, not only in St. Petersburg, but also in Europe, NATO meetings. Tomorrow, we know that if everything goes according to plan, the presidents of France, Germany, and Italy, the three strong leaders, are coming to Kyiv. But what has been happening last 24 hours on the propaganda front? Here you go. Let's start with this one. This is in what is called Novaya Russia. This would be in the Donbass region. One of the leaders of the Donetsk People's Republic. I can't even make this stuff up, folks. This is a news program where one of the leaders of the Donetsk People's Republic sits there and kind of just talks on the television. He's got a guy with him, and they're doing some analysis on the war situation, and specifically the Brits and Moroccan that have been captured. And by the way, folks, it appears that 2 Americans have now been captured in Kharkiv. Do not have final confirmation on it, but enough is out there where it's looking like 2 Americans have been captured. So, first thing on the propaganda front tonight, check this out. Donetsk People's Republic, Novaya Russia, New Russia.
Как вы думаете, кто скорее потеряет боевой дух при поражениях? Та армия, у которой мощная пропаганда, серьезная дисциплина вплоть до смертной казни в тылу, или та армия, у которой можно просто порвать контракт, просто порвать военный билет и убежать в тыл? Как полагаете? Ну, я еще хочу задать, кстати, в связи с этим, ответить на вопрос по вот этим осужденным наемникам. У нас, да, 2 британцам и 1 марокканцам. Я ставлю 9-1, что их либо помилуют, либо приговорят, то есть снизят им срок и в итоге обменяют. Ставлю 9-1. Если я ошибусь, я вот прям отдельный пост опубликую о том, что насколько положительное явление, поскольку их просто обязательно надо казнить. Просто обязательно. Потому что казнь этих 3 мерзавцев, врагов, которые добровольно приехали на сафари отстреливать русских, сбережет сотни, как минимум, а может быть и тысячи жизней русских солдат сейчас и в будущем. Потому что значительная часть тех, кто тоже собирается на это сафари в Англии, в Марокко, в Испании, в Финляндии, в Германии, подумает, почешет репу и скажет, да ну его. Да. А если их не расстрелять и обменять, эти люди наоборот улыбнутся и скажут, а в крайнем случае сдадимся в плен и нам ничего не будет. Так вот сейчас действительно это своего рода Рубикон. Если эти люди будут казнены, они должны быть казнены, это будет шаг к победе. Если эти люди не будут казнены, это будет большой шаг к поражению. Согласны, Владимир Владимирович?
Folks, that's key leadership in New Russia, Donetsk People's Republic. I'm not making this stuff up. That's real. That's on the television. And yes, they're sitting in front of a flag that needs to be ironed. Are people listening to them? Absolutely. Elderly army. No, they're the commentators. This is his wisdom and experience. It looks like in the chat here, we're getting some other confirmation. 2 Americans are both from Alabama, both veterans. One served in the Army and the other in the Marines. Telegraph has an article today. Also, the soldiers they are fighting with tweeted it today. Yeah, it's pretty much confirmed. Soldiers the two Americans were with say they went missing about a week ago. We'll see. I'm pretty sure they're in trouble. We shall see. Now, moving up to Moscow, chaos in the ranks. Here you go.
Нам пора уже привыкать к тому, что мы становимся империей, а раз с империей мы должны себя вести по-имперски.
Оружие должно угрожать в первую очередь территории Соединенных Штатов Америки, не только ядерное. И только понимая о том, что по ним вдарят моментально по Майами, Техасу, там, по любому штату, они подожмут хвост. И довольно-таки серьезно. Там сильно смелых нет. Вот в этом тоже правда. И к этому надо стремиться, идти уверенно. Это самое главное.
Дмитрий. Да, в элите Соединенных Штатов, во всяком случае в ее массе, в элите, как бы, ощущения того, что они уязвимы, на сегодняшний день нет. Потому что считают, что не ударят. Вот. Пытаться их переубедить в этом можно только одним способом — запустить Сармат. Ну, я понимаю желание многих попасть в рай, но как бы я пока не тороплюсь.
Либо разместить что-нибудь серьезное в Никарагуа.
Да не, послушайте, кроме кубинцев и чилийцев в Латинской Америке нет народа, на который можно было бы положиться.
Никарагуа.
Никарагуа? Ребят, не надо играть Латинскую Америку, все это фантазия.
Говорят, очень хорошо против санкций Сармат работает. Вот нет, вот говорят, полет Сармата...
Вот на самом деле это важный аргумент. Просто я частично согласен с тем, что никто не воспринимает, что это как бы аргумент, который будет применен в конечном счете. Вот. Поэтому проблема заключается в следующем.
А почему они так?
Ну, это они сейчас, это задача их убедить всех в том, что перестаньте, русские не пойдут.
Вот, то есть это на самом деле информационно сейчас активно продвинуто.
Да, вообще без проблем.
Еще раз. Вот. Задача убедить своих в этом.
То есть, они тогда вообще не понимают ничего про Путина.
Так вот, проблема-то в этом и заключается.
Владимир Владимирович что сказал? Зачем такой мир, в котором нет России?
Если мы переходим в такого типа противостояния, то мы должны как бы понимать, как бы, насколько в долгую надо в него играть. И, конечно же, по вопросу об операции необходимо иметь какие-то понимаемые нам границы. Потому что одно дело год, одно дело 3 месяца, совсем другое 10 лет. Вот насколько это? Примерно хотя бы.
Вопрос, что это?
Но вот. Смотря сколько будем возвращать и укреплять.
Вот. Поэтому для этого тоже надо понимать...
Имеется на каких направлениях и какую территорию.
Это к вопросу... Нет, на самом деле, это к вопросу о том, что как бы многие вещи можно решить экономикой, но есть некоторые вещи, которые фундаментально меняют все как бы прогноз.
По-моему, сейчас в этом мире уже не все можно решить экономикой.
Ну, на самом деле в этом мире, слава богу, не все можно решить экономикой, но очень важно, чтобы пока вы решали эти задачи, у вас она была. Чтобы просто ее пережить.
So you see, the young guy has a little bit of sense, talking about the economics, talking about how long this is going to go on, what actually is our goals. But there was one statement in there that I want to draw your guys' attention to tonight. One statement. And that statement was this, and I completely 100% agree with it. I know. It's tough to say. How can you agree, PG, with anything that Solovyov would say? Because he made a right statement. He made a proper statement. And the proper statement is this, and I can go back and play it, but I'll save us some time. He said, nobody understands Vladimir Putin. And with that, I completely agree. This is why we've been here for 112 nights, and we will continue to be, because the world does not understand Vladimir Putin. I will tell you one guy that understands Vladimir Putin, and that is McCall, the guy out of Stanford who was the ambassador back in 2014 to Russia. He is a Democrat, but in this case, with this war, he understands that Putin must be defeated. He understands that Ukraine must win. I highly respect this gentleman's opinions on Russia. He knows the language, he knows the culture, and he says the same thing. We're trying to tell people, and nobody understands it. Mr. President Putin, whatever you want to call it, they don't care what you think. They do not care about the economics. They do not care about finance, about who gets hurt, who gets killed, whether it's the enemy or their own people, they want one thing: destruction, devastation, and to be feared. And until the world understands that that is the mentality of the Kremlin, we will continue down this road of destruction. And unfortunately, Ukraine will be squashed first, and next will be Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland. And it's going to be way too late, folks. This is why they need to be stopped right now in eastern Ukraine. President Zelensky knows it. His team knows it. And there are some people in the world that know it. President Duda, the prime minister out of Estonia, the Baltic states and their leadership, they know it. But unfortunately, we're not there yet. But we're coming to the place where it's going to be too late. Right here, folks, Mariupol update, September 10th, 2022. I know this is hard to believe, but September the 10th, 2022, Russia has said that they will have the drama theater repaired, and they're going to begin doing a theater schedule. Concerts, dramas, plays, concerts, and everything else that they can do there. That is the drama theater. That is the inside. September the 10th, June, July, August, September. 3 months. They're going to be having performances there for the enrichment of the citizens of Mariupol. Can't make this up. Azovstal steel plant. Pishelin Denise came down to Mariupol and gave the update on what is going to happen to the Azovstal. We have followed that story pretty much since day one. Day 14, we began talking very in depth about Mariupol and the Azovstal plant. Now, 112 days into the war, here's an update on what's going to happen with Azovstal.
На самом деле, это действительно курортный город, но в полной мере курортным городу мешало как раз наличие тех производств, которые были. То есть, если говорим об Азовстале, нашумевшем предприятии, то есть там, где в принципе был последний этот опорный пункт противника, где собрались неонацисты, то данный завод, по мнению жителей как раз города Мариуполя, они хотели бы, чтобы он не восстанавливался. То есть это вот та социология, те общения, беседы, которые у нас состоялись в данный момент с жителями. То есть, по сути, Азовсталь являлся основным загрязнителем города Мариуполя. Причем, с учетом того, что он был построен без мнения экологов, то есть вопреки мнениям экологов и рекомендациям, без учета розы ветров, то есть он загрязнял и сам город, и море.
So, in case you were wondering, the residents of Mariupol, the same ones I've shown you the video where they're on the beach and saying, oh my goodness, that's my plant where I worked. There's my home that burnt down. These people have destroyed my city. You know, the people, they want Azovstal destroyed now, leveled, because it's environmentally a hazard. I guess the bombing, the missiles, the shelling, the death, the cholera, the disease, everything that the Russian army is bringing to Ukraine with this invasion, that's environmentally healthy. And the world just watches. Xi and Putin today had a telephone conversation. I told you today was a big day. The meetings in Europe, the meetings beginning in St. Petersburg, and President Putin and President Xi had a conversation today on the opening day of the Economic Forum. JDO, I was waiting for somebody to give that comment. I honestly was waiting for somebody to give that comment. He's referring back to the Azovstal when they're talking about the environmentalists were not consulted in the construction of the steel plant. Yeah. All of these plants were built during the Soviet Union, folks. It's what a joke. Xi and Putin conversation today on the opening day of the Economic Forum. Xi, point blank today, said he does not condemn the war in Ukraine, and both nations state that they will increase their partnerships on all levels. Folks, the handwriting's on the wall. We're watching it happen. Now, we cannot underestimate China, Russia, India, Iran partnership. We're already underestimating Russia standing alone. Why? Why is this a problem? Because, folks, and I know that we have people in here watching from different countries. Philippines is in here. We have Australia in here. We have Great Britain. All of these places are vitally important. And, I'll tell you this. I can speak for Europe. I can't really speak for, of course, Asia. Definitely, I can speak for Africa. I can speak for South America. A lot of these nations do not get the news and the understanding because smaller countries, for example, the nation of Ecuador knows very little about the war in Ukraine. That's not from me. That's directly from Ecuadorians telling us it's not on our news. But of course, Russia and Ecuador are partners with Ecuador's bad leadership. But other nations, small nations in Africa, small nations in Asia, they're not so much, into the news every day or trying to figure out what's going on. But folks, when you see an arrangement between Russia and China, you have to pay attention. Why? Because it's a game changer. I know that many Americans, and I'll speak to the Americans right now, many Americans think that we're invincible, that everything's great. We're going to be okay. We're over here. Nobody can touch us. I understand that thinking. But folks, you cannot minimize the alignments that are coming into position right now. And no, I love America. I bleed red, white, and blue. Look at there it is. My flag, made out of steel from Idaho, custom for me. I love America. But folks, right now, America's in trouble. And we're watching what's happening in the world. We've got to pay attention. We have to pay attention. President Macron again making President Zelensky angry before he comes to visit tomorrow. Today, President Macron made a very clear statement that at some point, Zelensky will have to agree to negotiate with Russia, and we Europeans will be at this negotiating table. Today, a quote from French President Emmanuel Macron. Unfortunately, Mr. Macron, you have no clue who Vladimir Putin is. None. Finally, title of the program tonight, Snake Island. Snake Island. Where is Snake Island at? And why is it becoming so important? Let me show you here, folks. I'm going to go to this map over here. And right here. Here is the Black Sea, of course, Crimea. Snake Island is right here. Right here. Now, I'm going to zoom into it. It's right off the coast of the very southern part of Ukraine. It's 20 miles from the coastline. Snake Island right here. I'm going to zoom in for you guys to see. This was satellite imagery from Google, of course, pre-war. And Ukraine used this as research, and you can see a few buildings there. Now, one thing you can't gather from this image is how big is Snake Island? Snake Island is 42 acres. We have a little area in the center part of our town here where we live, or where I live, and it was a former steel plant or railroad car plant back in the heyday. And I think it's 35 acres, 30 to 35 acres, right here in the center of town. If you drive by it and you look across there, it's a pretty good chunk of property. So add 7 more acres to that and then put that in the middle of the Black Sea, and you've pretty much got Snake Island. Unfortunately, Snake Island is going to become very, very important for this war, even more so, because right now, Ukraine is unable to touch it. They're unable to get to it. Rainwater, you are correct. The island has 0 snakes. But it does have, what? Hamsters. I did not know that. But I do know it doesn't have snakes. Right here, Snake Island today, you can see. Ricochet, you're right on. Exactly where I'm going. They have fortified Snake Island. I'll zoom into it. This is a photo from June the 14th, 11:40 a.m. Everything in the blue is new. It's added. There are air defense systems. There are fuel storages. I mean, Russia is using this. And of course, the thought process behind it is not only for air defense, but as well as a preparatory place for ultimately a ground invasion via naval forces. So we shall see. But Snake Island, really untouchable right now. Ukraine can't touch it, just as they can't touch the bridge that needs to be destroyed. Oh, I'm just kidding about the hamsters. Okay, because that was pretty good. But I know there's no snakes on it. So we're going to hear more and more about Snake Island, but what I can tell you right now, guys, is Russia is reinforcing it like crazy, and it is going to be utilized. Why would it be called Snake Island if it doesn't have snakes? You know what? That is a question, Rosemary, that you need to write down on the refrigerator on a magnet, and the next time Zhenya is on, which will probably be tomorrow, ask him. I'm sure he will know. But I'll do some digging also and find out. There will be a reason for sure. Final thing for tonight, folks, that I want to give you is right here. Europe today released some studies on 3 options for this war. 3 options for this war. And this is where we'll close out tonight. And at the end of day 112, this is where we're at. 3 options are: scenario number 1, Russia will continue to make small incremental gains in the Donbass. This is the War Study Institute. There will be constant local advances and perhaps slow progress due to the superiority in the number of artillery and personnel. Scenario number 2, the front lines will not move for months or years. There will be huge casualties on both sides. The West will face the threat of a growing crisis due to the exhaustion of the global economy. I would also add to that the exhaustion of trying to keep up with this war when people grow tired of it, because that's happening. And the third name, scenario 3, unlikely. Putin will try to minimize the hostilities, declare a victory, take Lugansk, Donetsk, Zaporozhye, and Kherson, Crimea, turn it into a Russian state, and be done. Not going to happen. Scenario 2 and 1, what I see right now is a mixture of the two. Until Ukraine is supplied with weapons, and by the time that happens, they're going to be out of soldiers. 100 to 200 die a day, 500 a day are injured. Their soldiers are not limitless. They're doing a great job, but they're not limitless. Russia will continue to make gains, as we're seeing slowly. The other reason that they're going to make slow gains is this. You have seen it. I try to show you a little bit of video each night. Their goal is not just to win the territory. They don't care about the territory. No option for Ukrainian wins back territory. No, not from the War Institute. That was the 3 scenarios as of today. You know, Ukraine cannot, let's be honest, guys. We're pro-Ukrainian here for this war. But Ukraine cannot win back their territory completely. they may make a push on the line 5-6 kilometers a day on the southern front, and then all of a sudden Russia pushes back, and they'll have that moral victory. Well, we gained 8 kilometers, and they can do that. But when we're talking about trying to rout out this endless supply of shells and troops, Ukraine doesn't have enough. This is why, and I know people get probably tired of hearing it. I'm sure President Zelensky is tired of asking. But he can see the handwriting on the wall, and if we do not get to it, White Island, white marble foundations. Serpents there were white. Thank you, Rainwater. Rainwater is our research man. If Ukraine doesn't get weapons, if they do not get help, and honestly, folks, soldiers pushing back and regaining, that is the ultimate goal. But as of today, day 112, those are the 3 options that the Institute for the Study of War has on the table. And like I told you, no, Ricochet, this is not another 8-year war. Ukraine doesn't have enough troops. You're right. How could we say it best? The clock's ticking, and it really is clicking. Remember what we told you the other day? Putin really wants to get this to the winter so that he can just grind it out. And he knows he's destroying infrastructure. Ukraine will not be able to provide heat for their people. Fuel will become an issue. Of course, food's already becoming an issue, and he just grinds it out. Once again, reminder, all the video we're showing you, they have no intention of saving anything. All they want to do is destroy. And this is why we must do all that we can do. And we want to thank you for doing all that you're doing, being here, supporting, being a part of this. Folks, you're fully updated. Day number 112. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm watching that St. Petersburg forum. Today, Russia decided to sell Ukrainian grain to the Taliban. We'll see what happens tomorrow. It's ridiculous. May the Lord bless you guys. Bless you. Bless all of you. Thank you for being here. Peace to you. Peace to Ukraine. Victory. We'll see you in 23 hours. Have a good night.